Jonah Hayes stood in the doorway of his burning barn with a rifle in one hand, and Abigail Rose behind him, crying with one hand pressed against her stomach. 3 riders waited in the yard. The man in front wore a black coat, clean boots, and a smile colder than winter water. "Step aside, rancher," he said. "That woman stole something that belongs to me." Jonah's jaw tightened. Behind him, Abigail whispered, "He means my baby." And for the first time in years, the quiet widower who had buried his heart beside his wife's grave raised his rifle and said, "Then you will have to come through me." But to understand why a lonely rancher would risk his life for a pregnant stranger, we have to go back to the day Abigail stepped off the train in Mercy Creek, Wyoming. Before we begin, tell me where you are listening from today. If this story touches your heart, please like it, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments. And if you have ever seen someone judged before their story was heard, I would like to hear about it too. The train came into Mercy Creek, coughing smoke across the morning sky. It was a small Wyoming town with one dusty main road, a wooden church, a sheriff's office, a general store, and a saloon with doors that creaked even when the wind was gentle. Folks there knew every face, so when a young woman stepped down from the passenger car carrying one carpet bag and a folded letter tied with a blue ribbon, every head turned. Then they saw her stomach. The talking stopped. Abigail Rose stood on the platform with her chin trembling. She was only 22, with tired brown eyes, pale cheeks, and a plain gray dress that had been mended at the sleeve. One hand held the letter, the other rested over the child she carried. A woman near the depot whispered, "Lord have mercy." A man by the water trough gave a low laugh. "That must be Hayes's bride," another voice said. "Looks like she already brought him a wedding gift." Abigail heard it all. She had heard worse before, but it still struck her like stones. She looked around the platform, searching for the man whose name was written at the bottom of the letter. Jonah Hayes. He stood near the hitching post beside a dark bay horse. He was taller than she expected, lean and weathered, with a brown hat pulled low and a black coat worn thin at the elbows. He looked like a man who had worked through grief instead of speaking it. His beard was trimmed, his eyes were steady, and his face showed no welcome at first. For one terrible moment, Abigail thought he might turn away. The station master cleared his throat. "Mr. Hayes, I believe your bride has arrived." More laughter moved through the crowd. Abigail's fingers tightened around the letter until the paper bent. Jonah stepped forward slowly. His boots struck the platform boards with a calm sound. He stopped in front of her and looked at her face, not her stomach. "Are you Abigail Rose?" he asked. She swallowed. "Yes, sir." "You had a hard trip?" "Yes, sir." His eyes moved to the crowd. The whispering grew again. Old Mrs. Haskins, who owned the boarding rooms, spoke loudly enough for all to hear. A decent man would send her back on the same train. Abigail's face burned red. Jonah removed his hat. The whole platform went quiet again. "She came here under my name," he said, his voice low but strong. "That makes her my responsibility." No one laughed then. Abigail stared at him. Those words did not sound like love. They did not even sound like kindness. They sounded like a fence being built between her and the wolves. And that was enough to make her eyes fill with tears. Jonah reached for her carpet bag, but she held it back. "I can carry it," she said. "I do not doubt that," he answered. "But you do not have to carry it today." Something inside Abigail almost broke. Before she could speak, Sheriff Nolan came out of his office across the road. He was a broad man with silver in his mustache and suspicion in his walk. "Jonah," the sheriff called, "you sure about this?" Jonah looked at him. "No." The answer surprised everyone. Then Jonah said, "But I am sure she will not be shamed on this platform." Martha Bell, the widow from the general store, watched from her porch. Her face softened in a way Abigail had not seen in months. Jonah helped Abigail down the steps. The crowd parted, but not with respect. They moved like people afraid of catching another person's trouble. At the wagon, Abigail paused. "Mr. Hayes, before we go, there is something I must say." Jonah tied her bag behind the seat. "Say it." She held out the letter with the faded blue ribbon. "I came because this letter said you knew my situation," she whispered. "It said you still wanted me." Jonah looked at the letter. Then his face changed. Not much, but enough. He took it from her hand and unfolded it. His eyes moved across the page. The wind lifted dust around his boots. The church bell rang once in the distance. Abigail waited, feeling the whole town watching her back. At last Jonah looked up. His voice was quiet. "Miss Rose," he said, "I never wrote this letter. Abigail's breath left her. Behind them, from the far end of the street, a black carriage rolled slowly into town, and on its door was the silver crow Abigail had been running from. Abigail went cold the moment she saw the silver crow painted on the carriage door. Her hand flew to her stomach. Jonah saw it. "Get in the wagon," he said. She did not argue. She climbed up fast, her breath shaking. Jonah folded the letter and slipped it into his coat. Then he took the reins and stepped up beside her, just as the black carriage stopped in front of the depot. The door opened. But it was not Silas Crow who stepped out. It was a thin man in a dark suit with polished boots and a narrow face. He looked more like a lawyer than a gunman. He glanced around the town as if he already owned the dust under everyone's feet. "Morning," he said. "I am looking for a young woman named Abigail Rose." Nobody answered. Sheriff Nolan took 2 slow steps forward. "And who are you?" "Edmund Pike. I represent Mr. Silas Crow." At that name, Abigail lowered her eyes and gripped the edge of the wagon seat. Jonah did not look at her. He kept his face toward the street. "What business does Crow have in Mercy Creek?" Pike's smile was thin. "Private business." Martha Bell came down from her porch with a sack of flour under one arm, as if she had just happened to pass by. "Private business rarely arrives in a black carriage," she said. A few men chuckled. Pike did not. He pulled a folded paper from his coat. "Miss Rose left her employer's household without permission. She has taken property that does not belong to her. Mr. Crow wishes her returned safely." Abigail let out a small sound, not quite a gasp, not quite a cry. Jonah heard it. He turned his head slightly. "Property?" Pike's eyes moved to Abigail's stomach, then back to Jonah. The meaning was plain. A hard silence fell over the street. Sheriff Nolan's face darkened. "That is a mighty ugly thing to say in public." Pike shrugged. "Ugly or not, I was sent to bring her back." Jonah climbed down from the wagon. He moved slow, but there was iron in him now. "She is not going anywhere with you today." Pike studied him. "And who are you to decide that?" "Jonah Hayes." Something flickered across Pike's face. He knew the name. Maybe he had heard Jonah was a widower who kept to himself. Maybe he had heard he hated trouble. Maybe he thought a quiet man was the same as a weak one. "If you are wise," Pike said, "you will not involve yourself in Crow affairs." Jonah rested one hand on the wagon wheel. "You brought Crow affairs to my station." For a second, Abigail thought the man might press harder. Instead, Pike gave a small, cold smile. "We will speak again." He tipped his hat, stepped back into the carriage, and rolled away down the street, slow enough to let everyone know this was not over. Only after the carriage vanished did Abigail begin to breathe again. Jonah climbed back onto the wagon. "We are leaving." The ride to the ranch was quiet at first. Dust rose behind the wheels. Fences stretched over the land. Dry grass bent in the wind. In the distance, low hills sat under a pale sky. Jonah's ranch house was not grand, but it stood solid, with a wide porch, a barn behind it, and 2 cottonwoods near the well. When they reached the yard, Abigail looked at the place as if it were something holy. Safe. For now. Jonah helped her down. "You can rest inside." She shook her head. "You deserve the truth before I enter your home." He waited. So she told him. Not every detail. Some pains were too raw to speak in full. But she told enough. She had worked in Silas Crow's house back east, as a seamstress and companion for his sick sister. Crow had been charming in public and cruel in private. When his sister died, he turned his attention to Abigail. By the time she understood the kind of man he truly was, she was already trapped. When she learned she was carrying his child, he did not offer marriage, he offered silence. Then he decided the baby would be raised under his own roof, while Abigail would be sent away and paid to disappear. "So I ran," she said, tears standing in her eyes. "Then I received that letter. It said a rancher in Wyoming was willing to marry a woman in trouble. It said I would be safe here." Jonah took out the weathered letter and read it again. Then he looked at her. "My brother used to answer mail order notices for me after my wife died," he said. "Said I needed a reason to keep living. He passed last winter." Jonah's voice grew quieter. "This writing is not mine, but I know it." Abigail frowned. "Whose is it?" Jonah looked toward the barn, toward a small grave on a rise beyond the fence, as if old pain had just lifted its head again. "My brother's," he said. Before Abigail could answer, a gunshot cracked across the ranch. A lantern on the porch shattered, and from the ridge above the house came the sound of a rider calling out, "Send the girl down, Hayes, or the next shot goes through your door." The shot left the ranch in silence. Jonah pushed Abigail behind the doorframe and reached for the rifle hanging above the hearth. "Go to the back room," he said. Abigail shook her head. "No, I will not hide while men bleed for me." Jonah looked at her, and for a moment his hard face softened. "You are not the shame here," he said. "They are." Another shot cracked. This one struck the porch rail and sent splinters across the steps. Outside, 2 riders sat on the ridge. Edmund Pike was with them. But the man beside him was older, broad-shouldered, and dressed in a fine black coat too clean for the trail. Silas Crow had come himself. Jonah stepped onto the porch with his rifle lowered, not raised. "You fire one more shot at my house, and this becomes something you cannot buy your way out of." Crow smiled. "I have bought my way out of worse." Then his eyes moved past Jonah and found Abigail in the doorway. "There you are," Crow said. "You have caused a great deal of trouble." Abigail's voice trembled, but she did not step back. "No, I survived trouble." Crow's smile faded. He took a paper from his coat. "Sheriff Nolan will understand. I have legal claim. She is unfit. She ran. She lied. She is carrying my blood." Jonah's hand tightened around the rifle. But before he could speak, a wagon came hard down the road. Martha Bell sat on the seat, whipping the reins. Sheriff Nolan rode beside her with 2 deputies behind him. Martha climbed down before the wagon fully stopped. In her hand was a small tin box. "I found what your brother left with me," she told Jonah. "He said if a black carriage ever came asking after a young woman, I was to give this to the sheriff." Jonah stared at her. "Isaac left that?" Martha nodded. Sheriff Nolan opened the tin box. Inside was a second letter, a land deed, and a signed statement written in Isaac Hayes' hand. The sheriff read in silence. His face changed slowly. Crow's eyes narrowed. "That paper means nothing." Nolan looked up. "It says you paid men to force widows and servant girls off property back east. It says Isaac Hayes saw your men beat a young woman outside Cheyenne last winter. It says he sent Miss Rose here because he believed his brother would protect her." Jonah's breath caught. Abigail covered her mouth. Nolan continued, his voice colder now. "It also says Isaac believed your men caused the wagon wreck that killed Jonah's wife 6 years ago, after she refused to sign over her family's water rights." The whole yard seemed to stop breathing. Jonah turned toward Crow. His wife's grave sat on the hill beyond the fence, quiet beneath the cottonwood shade. For 6 years, Jonah had thought her death was only cruel luck. Now the truth stood in his yard wearing polished boots. Crow reached for his pistol. Jonah raised his rifle, but Abigail stepped between them. "No!" she cried. "Do not let him turn you into what he is." Jonah froze. His hands shook. His grief begged for blood. His heart begged for peace. Then he lowered the rifle. Sheriff Nolan drew first. "Silas Crow, you are coming with me." Crow looked stunned, as if no man had ever spoken to him that way and lived. His riders glanced at the deputies and slowly dropped their guns. By sunset, Crow and Pike were locked in the sheriff's office. It would not fix everything. Men with money always had friends, but for the first time, Abigail's fear had a door between it and her child. That evening, Jonah stood beside his wife's grave. Abigail came quietly and placed the blue ribbon letter on the stone. "He saved me," she whispered. "Your brother did." Jonah nodded. "And maybe he saved me too." The next morning, Mercy Creek gathered at the little wooden church. Some came out of kindness, some came out of guilt. Abigail walked in wearing Martha's plain blue dress. Jonah stood at the front, hat in hand. He did not marry her because the town demanded it. He did not marry her because of shame. He married her because when the whole world called her a burden, he had seen a brave woman still standing. And when the preacher asked if Jonah Hayes would take Abigail Rose as his wife, Jonah looked at her, then at the child she carried, and said, "I will." Not out of pity, out of honor. For the first time since stepping off the train, Abigail smiled without fear, and outside, the Wyoming wind moved softly across the ranch gates, carrying away the last cruel whispers of Mercy Creek.